gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate, where we do what we always do, and that is bring the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and with me, as always, is him.
So what? We're not doing a counting anymore, then? You're just gonna rock up and start. That's cool. You know what I mean? That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. I was all ready. Do you know what I mean? To do the 3, 2, 1 mark, and you just gone.
Man, I know you love it. You go for it.
No, man. No, it's cool. No, I'm not doing it now.
You can cut it out and put it in beforehand.
No, I'm not doing it now. The moment's gone now. You don't even know what episode number it is, do you?
No, why do you think I missed it out?
Exactly. We've been chatting for about half an hour before we even started, and you just randomly just go, "I'm going to start now."
What episode number is it? You don't know either.
I do. It's episode 335.
Okay. Do you know what? Every time I hear how many episodes we've done, I'm thinking, I'm sure we should be on like episode 700 or something. I don't quite understand.
What's really sad is like there's other podcasts that started way after we did. That are like way ahead of us episode count wise.
Don't understand.
Which probably says quite a lot about us.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? No, but also I think there's, it's we said, but you know what? When life gets in the way, we let it.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. This isn't a compliment to our lives, not the center of the focus of our lives. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like chicken wings. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You're right. I don't know what's.
I don't know. It's
like coleslaw to now. It's like corn on the cob. You like it, but you don't always have to have it. Would you get KFC? No?
You know what? No, I get.
Oh, one analogy too far.
The problem is, I utterly get that.
You're probably the only person that's going to get that. And a lot of people are just like, what the hell are they? What are they smoking? What are they talking about?
I do the same thing in Nando's. It's like, I feel slightly guilty when I don't get corn on the cob, but I know. I don't have to have it. It's all right. I
always feel that when I order a KFC, like I get a bargain bucket and it's kind of like, what are your sides? It's like, why are you even asking me? You know I'll go for corn on the cob, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be done. Sue said to me the other day, we ordered it. I'm going to cut. She ordered it. I was going to get KFC, and she's like, "So you're going to get fries and corn on the cob, yeah." She's like, "Oh, you're going to get a little with that as well, then?" I was like, "Racist."
Yeah, and a side of watermelon.
What you saying? That I'm a walking cliche? Is that what you're saying?
You go, is she wrong?
No, she's not, because I do love a little.
Well, that totally tropical taste.
Right. I suppose we should do some geek stuff.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, my chest hurts. Right, do you want to do some news?
Yeah, go on then.
All right then. I was gonna go. I was like, we've got a stinger for that. I don't need to do sound effects. I just put something. But you know what?
It's like when you hear these people who like they're doing Star Wars and they go there and they pick up a lightsaber for the first time and they go zoom. And everyone's like, you don't have to make the noise. Like, how do you not make the noise, man?
Yeah, it's got to be done, man.
Yeah.
So because we've got a lot of questions that I put out the call for some questions from the syndicate, as in our listener base. So probably a lot of the episodes are going to be given over to that. But I wanted to get this bit of news in, mainly because that was a couple of the questions that we were asked to talk about. I think it's probably been aimed in my direction. And a number of people have sent me this link, which goes to show, I think it's a really nice thing for me, because it goes to show that people know me. And anything remotely pulp, adventure, people just fire links my way. So this is, obviously I know you're going to know the bit news because you're one of the people that fired the link my way. The Rocketeer is making a comeback at Disney Plus. Is this a rumor or has this actually been confirmed now?
I think it's been confirmed now. I think it's been confirmed.
With David Oyelowo, it's producing. And now I always remember him from Spooks.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
and I loved him in that. And obviously, he's gone on to have quite the career. But yeah, so he's producing with a rumor that he may star in it. Now, what I loved about I was worried. I always worry about.
Well, that's the thing. If someone's producing something that you like, you can go and give it a fair shot. When someone's producing something that you love, suddenly the stakes are higher. Exactly.
And it's funny, when you sent me the link for this, I didn't look at it to begin with because I was like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And then a couple of people sent me the link, and I thought, no, I'm gonna have a sit down and read this. And I have to say, the idea for it just works.
See, I haven't read it, so you can tell me.
So the Return of the Rocketeer will have an all-new creative directive with the story focusing on a retired Tuscany airman who takes up the Rocketeer mantle.
Nice.
So
the world is moving on.
So you know who the Tuscany airmen were, don't you?
Yeah.
So people who don't know, they were like the first African-American airmen in US Air Forces during World War II. And they've done a couple of films about them and stuff like that. So I think, for me, I really like that because it's in keeping with the spirit of the Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't think, I'm kind of mumbling my words over it. But I suppose for me, I like the idea of it. If they get him to star in it, I could see him in it.
Yeah.
I could definitely see him in it. I'm just interested to see how they're going to tackle it, because I think the other things as well is like the Rocketeer is just such a fun, light adventure romp. That's what it is. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like I need a rewatch of that.
Yeah, it's a go. I'm one of my things to do. One on my bucket list for this year is to actually rewatch all my pulp adventure films.
Nice.
It's like, The Shadow, Doc Savage, Rocketeer, and kind of round off with all the indies and stuff. And just kind of see how well they kind of hold up as well. I mean, I still enjoy them. So so overall, I like the idea of it. I'm interested to see how they do it. So anyway, so there's no word yet on, when this is going to come out, or even, if it's. I think this is still very, very early days.
And that means in a way, that means almost like you just need to forget about it. Because if it's news you're excited about, you just need to forget about it because it's going to be a while.
Just file it away, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So my news is comics. So we were just talking actually about the Stainless Steel Rat.
Mm-hmm.
And I first came across the Stainless Steel Rat in the pages of 2000 AD, where they serialized an adaptation of the books by Harry Harrison. And I think the best way to describe it is sort of a comedy science fiction that takes itself seriously. You know what I mean? Whatever that means, that's kind of what I came up with it. And Harry Harrison wrote a series of 12 books from 1961. Just to get this, it says that the final Stainless Steel Rat book was written in 2010.
Wow.
Well, he died in 2012, so I suppose that's possible.
Yeah.
In Brighton, England. Anyway, so he wrote, and his character was called James Bolivar de Gris. But his main name was Slippery Jim de Gris. It's like, or the Stainless Steel Rat. So the blurb goes, he's a futuristic conman, thief, and all-round rascal. He's charming and quick-witted. He's also a master of disguise and martial arts, an accomplished bank robber, a criminal mastermind, an expert in breaking and entering, and perhaps most usefully, a skilled liar. I mean, how is that not a character that you're all over, B?
Yeah, I'm all over, man. I should be all over it.
Yeah. A master of self-rationalization, the Rat frequently justifies his crimes by arguing that he's providing society with entertainment.
I used to use that same excuse at school.
Right? Why are you beating that boy? The crowd love it.
Yeah, provide the school with entertainment, Mr.
And besides which, he only steals institutions that have insurance coverage.
Yeah.
He displays a strong sense of morality, albeit in a much more restricted sense as traditional. For example, he will steal without compunction, but deplores killing. And so what happens is in the first book, he does this really good job and is so good that he found out he's been watched by the Special Corps, and they're an elite law enforcement agency, and it's completely staffed by ex-crooks. So basically, they go, look, we've been watching you. You're so good. You know, you got a choice. You could go down for life, or you could join the good fight, and that's how they recruit, basically.
Right.
And so he does that, and he comes across his nemesis, who is a woman called Angelina, who is also a criminal genius, but also a psychopath. And so it's his brain against hers, actually. And it's brilliant. It's really, I haven't read it for years and years and years, but I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I came across it in 2000 AD, the comic, and they are bringing out the collected, sort of a collected stainless steel red omnibus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, you know, I keep buying these things and stocking up my shelves going, right, I must read that. Remind the old days, and then never reading it for like 10 years or something.
Well, you know what, right? One, I'm going to make a note of that because I've never read that, and I'm on a bit of a 2000 AD kick. Reason being, I guested on a podcast yesterday. The episode is not going to be out until probably towards the end of September, which is the Mega City Book Club.
Okay.
And hey, Eamon, if you're listening. And I was asked to come on to talk about my favourite 2000 AD sort of storyline, storyline anyway, which was the Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
So I read so they sent me, it's the essential Apocalypse War, and it's in colour. So it's been coloured, and it comes with the story before the Apocalypse War, but kind of moved into a little bit of weird that was, to be honest. But it comes with the story before the Apocalypse War, which is Blockmania.
Yeah.
Then leads into it.
Yeah.
And
because they were poisoning the water, weren't they? They were sending everyone mad.
Yeah. Now, I never read the Blockmania story first time around. This was like the first time I'd read it, because back in the day, I was only getting the Apocalypse War, and I was only getting those in fits and starts when I could get them from the corner shop. But man, I have to say, I sat and read it like this week.
What a well-crafted story.
Not only was it a well-crafted story, once, you know, we talk about this whole thing about, like, you know, comics being a bit adult now, and what DC and Marvel have done, it's all a bit adult and blah, blah, blah. Mate, I sat and read that 2000 AD story cover to cover, and my first takeaway was like, if my mum had seen what I was reading,
right? Yeah.
Boy, I would have got a hiding. You know what I mean? I would have got a hiding like he wouldn't have believed. You know what I mean? And she would have just taken them all out into the back garden and burnt them, because I couldn't believe how, like, I'd forgotten how gritty and grim that story was.
Yeah, no, it was rough, man, and it was relentless.
It was just relentless. So I kind of want to say to people, which is why I'm not actually going to say too much more about it. I know it's been out for many, 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 many years, but if you're not a 2000 AD fan and thinking about picking something up, or, you know, you've never read this story, go and pick it up, man, because it's really good. Bleak as hell. But you got some people putting it on the line, and I hadn't forgotten. But also as well, I mean, when I was a kid, I thought Judge Dredd was cool. You know what I mean? I thought the judges were cool. They looked cool. They had cool bikes. You know,
they are bastards.
They stood for the law. Blah blah blah. Reading this one, I was like, this one bit, it's a spoiler, but they got all these people in the ditch. So basically, they're collaborators.
I knew you were going to go.
And I was reading that. This is this week, and I was like,
fill it in.
I was like, wow.
Also, what was great about 2000 AD was what was different between them and DC and Marvel. You don't get this rinse and repeat stuff. It has serious effects for years to come. Yeah. I mean, years. Even today, there's still fallout from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's storylines that still come off of that and change things. So yeah, no, I mean, 2000 was groundbreaking as far as
it should be, you know, because that should be great. The storyline should have been groundbreaking, and it was. But,
I mean, to see similar storylines now, you have to go looking at Hellboy.
Yes.
Or BPRD.
Yeah. Do you know what it was? Which is why I want to do a reread of all the BPRD stuff, which we did last year. That was what it.
Did you finish it? Because I only got as. Did you keep going? Because I only got as far as So was it? I can't remember. I didn't go all the way to the end. I read to end of one of the major storylines, and then
Mate, you got to get to the end. Someone else.
The Devil You Know. That's what I need to read. That's all I've got left to read is The Devil You Know storyline.
That's not as bad then, because you've read the story, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
The Devil You Know is more of a bit of an aftermath type thing to me. Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, I have to say, hands down, that storyline, I couldn't even tell you how many trades it is the best thing I've read in comics. And when I say that, I'm not saying it's comparably better than whatever, classics people are going to quote to me. I'm saying for me, for someone like me who loves pulp adventure at its finest, no comparison. And I'm including aforementioned comics I might have said before. Do you know what I mean? It just, so good. That's what I was reminded of. You're right. When I was reading the Apocalypse War, that's what I was reminded of. It's not the same story, but the beats of it
and the way they allow it to actually totally mess up the world.
Yeah.
There's no we're gonna be okay coming out of this.
There's no you pick up issue whatever. The next storyline is like it's all Jim Dandy. Everything's all good.
Yeah, I mean they were rebuilding Mega City 1 for years.
Yeah.
And they were dealing with the fallout of it for years. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's the way. Make it so. I like that.
So we seem to have slipped into week that was.
So let's get into week that was officially.
Yeah.
It's time for the week that was. Yeah.
Should we just do a couple? What? Go and get to questions.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. See, the problem we'll have to talk about some of these next time because I've got my list is not as relatively long, but we've already talked a couple of comics. So I would give this a mention is Pennyworth.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't started series 2 yet,
mate. Shout out to Sire Nick because I'd completely forgotten about season 2. I knew it was coming out, but I'd forgotten about it. And then they'd finished watching it and they'd posted up about the season finale and stuff. And I was like, I've got to get on this. So I went and I blitzed it in a week. It's so good. It's so good. And what I like about it, I could care less that he becomes Bruce Wayne's butler.
Yeah. It's kind of like Pennyworth. Well, you know what? You could have called it anything.
You could have called it anything.
It doesn't even have to relate to Alfred at all.
It feels, and the thing is as well, what I love about this second season is it's a really great second season because it embraces what was great about the first season and doesn't do a rinse and repeat.
Right.
And again, the world has changed, and what I love about it feels like it reminds me of those old 60s shows that we used to watch when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like The Saint, The Persuaders, Sapphire and Steel.
Yeah.
I can't think something that my head's gone blank now.
They were all a little bit out of left field.
Yeah, The Avengers. And it feels like every episode I was half expecting to see Purdy and Steed pop up or to see Sapphire and Steel like they're doing some investigation in the background. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's that world. It doesn't even feel like Batman's world. It just doesn't feel, even though they mention Gotham, I don't get excited when they mention Gotham. I don't care. Because
it's created its own world that stands on its own.
Exactly. You could run 10 seasons of this and I wouldn't care that I don't care if we get the episode where he goes to Gotham or do you know what I mean? I'm not, they do a time jump and suddenly he's with Batman. I don't care. I'm far more invested in him as a youngster, basically being Michael Caine.
It's blatantly Michael Caine.
Being Michael Caine, walking about with, Dave Boy and Bazza.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's like... what was really funny was like it took me about 4 episodes to click. I was like, "What? His sidekicks called Dave and Barry?" I was like, "Hold on, Hold on a minute.
I feel like I should be like sending them a letter or something saying, look, you're missing the trick, guys. I mean,
Yeah, you know what? We need to get them to do some Photoshop work on that one.
so yeah, it's cracking. You got to get on that, man.
Okay, so my bit of week is something that I was going out of my way to avoid.
Okay.
Which was the new Harley Quinn cartoon.
Oh.
So I mean, because number one, I always, you know what, I love heroes. As growing up, I found my inspiration from heroes. And just reading stuff about heroes, putting it on the line, made me a better person. So I'm like, why do I want to read stuff from a hit villain's point of view? I don't want to glorify the villain. I don't want to, do you know what I mean? So number one, that was my thing. Number two, I'm like, Harley Quinn has been so marketed at kids, and now you're coming on with a really adult cartoon. And I could see my kids going, I want to watch it. No. And then like, I always check what my eldest has been watching on YouTube, and she's been watching a few clips from Harley Quinn because she thought it was Harley Quinn, and it's an adult Harley Quinn. Because I mean, you see it, bright colours, look. So I'm like, I'm not a fan. Somehow, I started watching it. It's really good, man.
Isn't it?
It's so good, and it's much better put together than I imagined. It's not as random as I thought it would be. The narrative and the through line is strong, and it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
It is funny. So yeah, I still stand by my what I said, but I don't have the strength of my convictions to not actually watch it, enjoy it, and look forward to it. You know?
So I've still got season 2 to watch. But I went to season 1. The thing is, I think the quality of the show is the fact that I was like, yeah, I ain't got kids. It's not even like that. I went into this show actively expecting not to like it. Like actively, I was like, whatever. Yeah. I don't even know why we were watching it. But in the first episode, there was some. I can't even remember it now, but there were some lines, and I was just in tears.
So good, man. I was like,
Commissioner Gordon.
He's a mess, man.
It's almost like as well, you kind of think, that's kind of how he would be. He's just a mess, man.
Yeah, because he's walking the line all the time anyway, man. Do you know what I mean? It's got to have an effect on his domestic life. I loved it. I was like, I need a break before I start season 2, but I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that reaction at all. I was not. So, what can I say, man?
Good call. Oh, God, so much, man. We've done a comic. I'm trying to just spread it out a bit. I started reading. So you've watched Shadow and Bone, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of it?
I kind of struggled. I really struggled with the first episode. I watched it with Siobhan, and she was like, they're not getting it. It's like they tried to introduce too much information. It's not hanging together. Second episode was more interesting, but still, when I was like, I'm probably done out of this, I'll give it one more. Third episode, I don't know what it was. Something just kicked in. I was like, this is great. And from that point on, I loved it.
So it was interesting. And I think when it's a few people have that same, I had exactly the same reaction. I actually watched the first episode with Sue, and then she just went, I'm out. She might even have physically left the room to just say she was out. And I think I'm going to stick with it. And I think I watched half of the second episode, and then I must have had like a 2-month break, and then I went back to it. And
likewise,
all of a sudden, I was in, and I couldn't get enough of it, and I didn't know why. Then I sat and thought about it, and what I realized when it got to the end, I was like, do you know what it was? It was the thieves.
Yeah, the crows. The
crows, right? I thought, and the brothers, Jasper, the gunslinger dude. Yeah. He was just proper sassy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a book called so obviously Shadow and Bone, Netflix fantasy show, which is based on a series of books. But within that universe, the author, who's Leigh Bardugo, I've probably said that. He also brought out a couple of books based on the crows.
Okay.
So one of them, which is one I've started reading about halfway through, it's called Six of Crows, and
it's a great name.
Yeah. So let me read you the blurb, right? a convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heartrender using her magic to survive the slums, a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes, 6 dangerous outcasts, 1 impossible heist. Kaz's crew is the only thing that might stand between the world and destruction if they don't kill each other first. That told me they ain't a blur.
Yeah, no. It suddenly made me go, I need to put that on my list.
So basically, do you remember back in the day, there was a couple of books we read, The Gentleman Bastards?
I was just thinking about that.
It's that vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that vibe.
You know, I've just had a look. Even the cover makes me think of it.
Yeah, it's that vibe.
Gentleman Bastards. What happened to them? Was there
I don't know, man.
They were great, man.
Yeah. But it's basically... it's like a heist novel, and it's told from each step. So each chapter is a different character perspective, which I quite like.
Yeah.
And I'm about halfway through, really enjoying it. We haven't got to the meat of the heist yet, but it's good stuff, man. And I kept thinking, I really enjoyed Shadow and Bone, but I'm like, I wish they'd done this.
Yeah. So, should we get into the questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. It's time for questions from the Syndicate.
So I put out the call on our private Facebook group. If you haven't joined the private Facebook group,
Join it. Okay.
There you go. There's your call to action. Join it. And then you too can post questions to us or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So have you got I've got the questions.
I've got it up in front of me, yeah.
Okay. First one is from Matt Kavanagh. Kavanagh. What was the highlight of your... I don't know why I said that. What was the highlight of your geeky summer?
Well, there's a couple of things for me. Well, so this is going to sound really weird, and I'm not being flippant. But one thing having COVID did for me was give me some time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I loved about my geeky summer was catching up on some TV, on some movies, and also books. So I just did a little count. So since I came out of hospital, when was that? That was May. End of May. Yeah, end of May, beginning of June. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. I haven't done that kind of rate of reading in a long time because, life for kids. And I've read some good books, man. And I'm going to probably go into review some of them at more length at another time. But so that was great. But for me, I've got to say the main thing is I came out of hospital, and I probably mentioned it in the show before. And I was like, do you know what? I need something to do while I'm recuperating. And I feel the urge to do some Lego. And so I looked, and they got the Razor Crest, which is the Mandalorian's ship.
Oh yeah, you did say.
And I was like, that's £120, man. I can't. You know what? I've had a close call. I'm buying that baby, and I got it and putting that thing together, man. I still replay bits in my mind every now and again. I look at it, I walk past it, I'm like, I got a display case, I got a display stand for it and everything. And then I've just gone and bought a light kit for it. So you got to take this apart, put the lights in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm putting together those little pieces of Lego, and in my head, I'm welding metal panels into place. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't Lego, man. I was building a spaceship, and I was so transported by it. It was, yeah, man, that was, I don't know why, but that just sweetened my whole summer, just doing it. And I'm just going to turn around and look at it now. Yeah, proper. But yeah, that was it. And I'm like, I just want to buy more Lego now. Lego ain't cheap, man.
No, it's not cheap, man.
I've just seen this Doctor Who set. So it's like the Doctor Who control room of the TARDIS. But with it, you got a little TARDIS that you can just, make, and it can fly around or whatever you want to do with it. And when you open it up, it slots into the control panel. So it looks like it suddenly becomes the door that you go in to get into the control room.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so. And I was like, yeah, I want to get that £100 and something. I'm like,
yeah, that could wait.
That could wait. But apparently they stopped making it. That's why it's so expensive to find when you find it. So it's like, oh man. But I'm hoping that I haven't got this, suddenly got this, I've been bitten by this Lego bug. I just want to make spaceships now. And I'm like, that could be an expensive hobby, man.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, well, that was my highlight, building the Razor Crest.
Well, given the level of questions, I'll keep mine brief. My highlight was the Geeky Summer. I had to just go and check, make sure it came out over the summer. Was season 2 of Lupin.
Yeah, of course.
The reason being is because it's just, I can't say it's that, it's just such a fun show. And he's so damn good. And it's just proper sass. And I just feel like we don't have a lot of them shows anymore. Like back in the day, you used to have shows like White Collar and Leverage. Leverage is kind of back now, but you know, you can't get it at the moment. But shows, and primarily shows like Hustle back in the day, the first couple of seasons of Hustle was just money. Yeah. And that's what this reminded me of. And I just loved it. I just loved it. And there's always that worry again about a second season, you know, will it still capture that same sort of, and it did in spades. It's just great. Even if the guy stole my look, you know what I mean? But that's cool. I'll allow it.
Yeah, generous of you.
Yeah. Which I think kind of covers Dion's question, which was saying, welcome any news that has made you feel some hope for the future, things you're hanging on for, things that are exciting and inspiring you. Do you know what? I'll say this quickly. I am, and this is the first time I've admitted this to anyone, I am genuinely really excited about the new Indiana Jones film. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're not worried?
You know what?
We were saying earlier, you know, being worried about things that you love. So you're not worried?
No, I'm not.
And why? I know that's a pretty weird question, but why?
I can't put it into words. And maybe I'm going to be proven wrong, and I don't really care if I am. But there's just that part of me that feels like either they're going to nail it, or regardless, I'm going to have fun with it. Do you know what I mean? When they first announced it, I was like, I don't know, man, just, you know, let it go, you know? But I now kind of think that if they tackle it's like anything, I guess, if they tackle it right, it will be good. But I sometimes feel if you've had a bit of a stumble, I still really enjoyed the fourth indie film. I understand the criticism of that. Some of the criticisms I could argue to the day is long, i.e. the whole science fiction angle of it. Like I said, there's comics where they were doing that. Indiana Jones comics were doing that way back in the day.
Yeah, no, I don't understand that.
So I could, and I did a whole podcast about that anyway. My main criticism of it was the fact that actually, it was just too blue screen for me. There was too much CG, not enough location stuff. And I think, you know, Indy should always look a bit battered and bruised. And I think there's right at the end, he's like his jacket's just been to the dry cleaners, his leather jacket, and I was a bit, you know. But I feel like when you've had knocks like that, you can go away, look at it, and come back fresh. You know what I mean? So no, I'm excited about it. I think as well, just seeing the pictures of him as Indy, I can't not get excited whenever I see him as Indy. Don't matter how old he is. It's just, and maybe it's different because I'm older now as well. So it's kind of like, well, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm excited about a new Indiana Jones film. I definitely, there's still no title for it, is there?
No.
I'm really excited to just know what the title is. Just to know what the title is going to excite me. The casting seems great as well. I just hope they make use of the cast. I don't feel like some of the casting on the full film, they, you know, some of them actors in there just didn't get used. You know what I mean? John Hurt was just,
yeah.
And Ray Winston just didn't really get used as much as they could have done. You know, unlike Shia LaBeouf.
For me, I think it's interesting because no matter how dark things got, I never really lost hope because I don't know. No matter how dark things have got, they've always been darker. So I'm like, okay, there's a way forward. I just may not be feeling it at the moment, but I will. And in terms of geeky stuff, things slowed down for a bit. And in my mind, that was all good because I need to catch up, man. I can't keep up. And I said to, I was talking to Adrian Tchaikovsky a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, as long as I've known you, I've been asking you to take a year out just so I could catch up. And, TV wise, the fact that things slowed down a bit, that was great for me as far as I was concerned. But then they didn't. There's stuff coming out. There's so much stuff coming out. I'm like, I could turn my head left or right and I can see things which are exciting or inspiring me. And actually audio stuff has been getting to me. I listened to some Judge Dredd audio, which I thought was terrible. I think it was Judge Dredd America. I did not enjoy that.
Oh, okay. I quite like that.
But then I listened to The Brink, which was another 2000 AD story by Dan Abnett and drawn by Ian Culbard. And I listened to issues 1 to 3. It was brilliant. And then I've just found out that they've just wrapped up doing Brink 4, which is the final episode of it. The first episode had what's his name in Richard Armitage, Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
And it's just quality anyway. Yeah. And the Sandman audio was fantastic. And the fact that they've got another one coming out with a few of my friends in it as well. I'm like, what? So I'm like, I've had time to go back to look at old stuff, to look at new stuff. My to watch list is still growing. My to read list is still growing. I don't know. I think the future's kind of bright.
Yeah.
There's stuff going on, but yeah.
So moving on, Andy's asked, we should talk about the job that you can't talk about. Well, we can't talk about that job.
That'd be great. It's not the job. There's like 4 jobs I can't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron's asked, would we like some toast?
Always.
Goes without saying. Graham has asked thoughts on returning to Comic-Cons.
That's a funny one, that. Because I think even before things went a bit wrong, I hadn't been to a proper Comic-Con in ages.
No, I'd done Thought Bubble a couple of years ago, and for varying reasons, I didn't have a great experience. But which wasn't the fault of Thought Bubble; it was just as it was. And I sort of said to myself, next time I go to Thought Bubble, I won't be going as a exhibitor. And I didn't know when that was going to be. And then for a while, I thought I was going to actually go this year. But as it turned out, I sort of double booked myself. So I'm actually going to be away when Thought Bubble's on. So I won't be doing that. And interesting, I was talking to someone about cons yesterday, Eamon, and we were just sort of saying, would you do you sort of wait the year out and start hitting cons afresh next year? Because the con experience is obviously going to be different this year still. It may still be different next year, to be honest. But I don't know. And then I think, I don't even know what cons are out there at the moment.
No.
I'd like to do one, but I think part of my problem is accepting the fact that the con days of old have gone, where you can kind of go to one con and see everyone.
Yeah.
It's kind of gone a little bit. Everyone's scattered to the 4 winds.
Yeah, and also it's kind of hard to get certain people. I'm back in the day, we used to get some DC top wigs coming over to Bristol and just chilling out in the bar. And there's so many American cons. That's so many. I can't. If they ever come over to Britain, I think it's I just don't think it's what it was. Now I sound like a battered old man. It's bitter. So get off my lawn. It's not what it was in my day. It was like blah blah blah. But maybe I'm not bemoaning cons. Maybe I'm bemoaning the evolution of cons beyond what I enjoyed.
Yes, yeah. And I still feel, as I said, I think there's talk of I think is it the guy from Tripwire doing a convention in Bristol.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's next year or this year. I'd like to do one next year, but again, I don't know. It may end up being football, which is going to be way down next year.
Yeah.
I'm done doing. I don't fancy MCM anymore.
Well, I took the last time I went there was must be the last one before COVID, I think. And I took my kid, my eldest.
Okay.
She liked it, but what's she know?
Wow, we really have turned into two begrudgingly old men.
Oh man, get off my lawn.
All it took was a global pandemic.
Yeah, I think we should close down Geek Syndicate and go and join the guys on Grumpy Old Geeks.
Yeah, Jeremy. Anyway, moving on to more exciting multiverse crossovers. This one comes from Dion. So, multiverse crossovers are now totally possible in the MCU with shows like The Defenders, The Gifted, What If, Legion, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, etc. So, what actors would you like to see brought into the official MCU and their characters intact? And what characters would you like to see brought in but played by different actors? Oh wow, that's a bit complicated.
That's an intense question, man. I don't even know. Do you know what part of my problem is? If you said the DCU, I'd be like, right, okay, let's go. But Marvel,
well, I could tell you one character I don't want to see in any shape or form. And that's Danny Rand from the Netflix show.
Wow.
He could do one.
Wow.
I don't need to see him at all, man. His race is run. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wow. Okay.
But I would like to see...
Go on, are you going to say what I was about to say? Go on, I'm curious.
What's her name? I forgot the name.
From where?
From Iron Fist.
What's her name?
Yeah, thanks for that.
I know who you mean.
Colleen Wing.
Yes.
I'd like to see her officially in the MCU.
Yeah.
As Iron Fist. If they're going to go down that route, because they kind of did in the show.
Yeah. I'd like to see some of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they deserve a place in canon, man. They deserve it.
Like
May and Black Widow. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a toss-up. Who's better?
Yeah. I mean, have you been watching the What If?
Yes.
Are you up to?
I haven't watched the latest episodes.
So I haven't watched the latest one. The last one I saw was What If the Avengers didn't become the Avengers,
which I enjoyed much. See, the first two I enjoyed, but I did come out going, well, there was just like, let's replace a character, tell a story again. Whereas I felt like the one where What If the Avengers, that was a proper story in its own right. Whereas
I kind of agree and disagree in that I completely agree with the Captain, as much as I'd love the Captain Carter one, and I just come out of this going, they either need to do animated Captain Carter or just get Haley Atwell and just give her a film.
Yeah, for real.
Real. But it was basically the first Avenger with just a couple of extra scenes and just chopped and changed, which was still clever and still enjoyable. But I felt that the second one with just T'Challa, it wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't the same. It wasn't exactly the same beats in the same way that Captain Carter was.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was uplifting. I enjoyed it a lot, but I don't think it broke new ground in any way. Whereas I felt that it was a great story, but I kind of felt like I just came out going, that was a great story. Whereas this one, I went, that was an interesting story.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean?
Yeah. The Avengers one was, in terms of the story, was the best one in terms of the story, because it was just clever.
Yeah.
It was some of the stuff they did. I was like, that's clever.
I felt a bit sad for Hulk, man. Every single, not Hulk. I mean, Thor. What's his name? Who plays Thor? Chris.
Oh yeah.
Because like every Marvel actor's getting their cameo. Yeah, my boy turns up, and he don't get a word in.
Yeah.
It's like...
And also as well, when you find out what's actually going on, I did not see that coming.
No.
I did not see that coming.
No.
So I have to say that kudos to Marvel, because I was like, what now?
And the way it ended, I didn't see coming either.
No.
I was like, you know what? Because it finished, and I said to Siobhan, you know what? If that one was a series, I'd watch it.
Yeah. I think part of it, and I was talking to Stacey about it, and it's sort of, that's what I sort of thought. I think part of the, not problem, because I'm really enjoying it, but is that they're too short.
Yeah, because it feels like they're trying to pack a lot in.
They are packing a lot in for what, a half an hour show. I feel like they should be hour, personally. I feel like if that Captain Carter one had been a 50-minute, you would have got much more weight to it, and you can go a bit crazy. You can do more things then, you know. But yeah, so I like you. But what I was going to say was, what was great about the Avengers one was just seeing Coulson.
Oh yeah, man. I said to Siobhan, you just put Coulson in stuff, and I'm just there, man.
I'm there for it, man.
He's just a quality character.
I'd like to have seen May pop up in there as well.
Yeah. For real.
But what else? What I'd just like to see. I'm just thinking about the Defenders. I've already said Danny Rand can do one, didn't I? So I'll make sure I got that one in. I would like to see Daredevil. I would like to see Charlie Cox in there.
I would like to see. I mean, like. I mean, Cloak and Dagger were part of the mainstream MC comics for a while, and just all of them little shows, like Runaways was such a great comic. They've just kind of been left, they've just been done and left to the side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, just a reference to let us. Do you know what I mean? There's no reason they couldn't have been in Endgame, and people could go, who the hell are they? You know what I mean? A little Google work will tell you.
I always remember, like, it wasn't Spider-Man, it was the X-Men cartoon, like the X-Men cartoon. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I think it was the Phoenix Saga, and there was a bit in there where, like, I don't know if she'd done something or something happened, and she set off some wave, and it was basically Earth was just getting trashed by, like, you know, freak weather and all sorts, and it flashed around the world, and it was all these different heroes, like, trying to keep the world
together,
just helping out.
Yeah.
And there were all these characters that you never saw before, and there was like, you know, there was like a little clip of Doctor Strange. He didn't say anything, you just saw Doctor Strange looking out the window, and I was so excited just because it was Doctor Strange looking out of a window. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you saw some people get saved in New York, and it was clearly Spider-Man, but you never saw Spider. You just saw the shadow and you saw the webbing. But you knew it was Spider-Man. And
just the nods to people outside of the main story.
Yeah, and I feel like with Endgame, they probably could have done that. You could have had that big portal battle, but you could have had them, I don't know, flashing around the world, and there's like different characters doing stuff around the world. You could have had your Defenders and all that sort of stuff.
But you know what? I think the last place I saw anything like that happen, and you know, I'd give a lot of criticism for the CW DC shows.
Mm-hmm.
But when they did their last Final Crisis thing, I think they kicked it out of the park with that. There were some people in there, I was like, what's that? Oh, that's the Birds of Prey show from back in the day.
Yeah.
That was like, it's Tom Welling. It's Tom. I was like,
that's the dude from the Bat. It took me a while to figure him out. I was like, what? Who's that guy? He's the dude from Batman. He was the reporter from the Batman film.
Yeah. And they had Burt Ward in there just for a second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And all this, and I was like, you know, the way you got Lucifer in there. And I was like, what? They just did it proper. And I was like, yeah, that's how you do it, man. Didn't leave anybody out. Yeah, there you go. I don't think that really gives a satisfying answer to Dion's question, but I think that takes a bit more thinking about. That's a great question.
You might have to come back to that one. Stace Bob has asked for in honor of we should come up with because it's going to be our 50th anniversary. Not 50th, 15th anniversary.
15th, yeah.
Sort of this month-ish. And said in honor, we should come up with our top 15 GS moments. Yeah, that's going to take some time.
It's going to take. Should we do 7.5 each?
Yeah, but we'll have to say, but not now.
Yeah, no. But it's a good one to have.
Obviously, according to Phil, my 7 are just going to be Phil.
Yeah, of course. What else would it be?
And Stace the Whittle is asking for more recommendations like Lupin. And someone mentioned, Dion then mentioned a show called, which you put Dion onto?
High Seas.
High Seas.
Yeah. which was is it a 19? I think it's a 90. It's set just after the war, Second World War, on a ship, basically sailing across. It's a Spanish show, so it's in Spanish, and it was just really good. It looks fantastic. Dion said it's the perfect blend of cheese and crackers, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but it perfectly sums up what that.
I don't know what that means, but it perfectly sums it up.
I don't know what it means, but it works. So yeah, no, High Seas. There's 3 seasons, and I'm kind of glad it ended then, because it got to a point where you go, all this stuff happening on one ship is just ridiculous, man. And literally, the first 2 seasons was one journey. The third season was another journey on the same ship, and I'm like, you don't go back to sea after shit like the first season happened. You just stay on terra firma, man. You know what I mean?
I've got to say, I watched because you hadn't seen it, and I wanted to rewatch it. Deep Rising.
Deep Rising. Have I seen that?
This is the one. It's done by the same guy who did The Mummy. But this is a film he did before The Mummy. It's all set on it's basically this massive like Titanic type ship that gets infested by like octopus type creatures.
I haven't seen this.
You have seen it, man. I'm telling you.
Have I?
You have.
Because I'm like, this is right up my street.
Yeah, and it stars the guy. What's his name? Treat Williams, I think his name is. He's called Finnegan, and he takes a load, and basically a load of thieves going to rob the yacht, and then obviously when they get there, everyone's kind of dead, and then they got to get off, and then they've basically got to survive and get off the ship. You telling me you don't see this?
I have no recollection of this whatsoever.
Well, you need to get on that, buddy. If you don't see Deep Rising, you need to get on that. I'm sure you've seen this film. 100% sure.
I'm just getting my thing out. That's another one going on my list. Damn it, man. List is far too long.
Oh, it's a cracking film, man.
Okay, all right. Yep, there it goes into my list.
Right. On that note, and lastly, I'll just say, like the week that was, I've got to say, man, it's been a long way coming, but I watched the final trailer for the new Bond film.
Yeah, so you comment on that.
I've got to say, that's how you do a trailer.
Okay.
That's how you do a trailer for a Bond film.
I haven't seen it, but it's good, is it?
That's how you do a trailer for a Bond film.
All right, I might watch it.
It's a proper trailer, man. But what's really good though is obviously they're really trying to double down on the fact that all of these films tie into each other,
right?
Which some Bonds kind of not really. Probably the only one that kind of really linked in, I guess, was like the earlier ones with Connery. Yeah, Dr. No kind of linked into Russia with Love.
Okay. That would be interesting to see, because it's the difficult one, because you can see how some link but not all, and I've never been sure which are meant to link and when they try to link it and then stop linking it or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I still think I rewatched Spectre the other day. I'd only seen it once, and I rewatched it the other day, and I was enjoying it. And then it got to the bit where Blofield's his brother, and I was just like, why?
Yeah, but there's that thing where they just seem to do in TV where they just try to and TV and movies, they just try to make everything linked.
Yeah,
and it's like it doesn't have to be. It
doesn't need to be. He can just be a straight out criminal mastermind. It doesn't have to be a relation.
Yeah. Anyway. That's us, and you know the score. Let us know if you agree with us or if you violently disagree with us, and you can do it at the geeks at geeksyndicate.hotmail. No, what is it? The geeks at geeksyndicate.uk, or find us on any social media platform you choose. And don't forget to check out the website, and thank you to all of those who've donated and made the show possible. But my big favour this week is join the Facebook group over called Geek Syndicate. It's on Facebook.
It's a private group, but if you knock on the door, metaphorically speaking, we'll let you in.
Lovely. So, till next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.